It's Dr. Amin Baba Rave. What's up, everybody? I got asked to talk about the psychology of the 9 chakras and how they fit into the 15 dimensions. All right, so I'll be brief, but I'll give y'all a little understanding that can help y'all understand the reality more, because I know that's where most of the modern mind is really at. Um, it's about understanding the reality. But let me give you some understanding so that y'all can reflect on the outer reality. So the first dimension is about pressure. It's pretty much the pressure to be inside of an algorithm. It is the pressure that makes the sympathetic nervous system turn on at random times and put you into a certain level of speed. Okay. And that certain level of speed comes with a certain level of warp at the same time. All right. So the next dimension is about creativity. So this is when, through the speed, there happens to be a certain level of onlay and cultivation that happens, and this is our creativity, what is also known as sexuality. And in the sexuality, um, you have a little bit of a transcendence of time, because time is, for a lot of people, ego, because this is the one thing that they cherish the most in this reality is time. So time is ego to a lot of people. All right. So now you have a little bit of a transcendence of it because you're getting more creative into your sexuality. And then next you have what I would call memory and emotion, because pretty much through that creativity, you start to culture enough of a lifestyle. And this is the third dimension that everybody lives in, and their lifestyles that they call growing, because that's what you're here to do. Most people grow old, some people grow wise. It's pretty much that simple. And so, however it is that you grow from that timing, from that pressure of that timing into your creative aspects, from that ego growing into your creative aspects, so that you can create a certain memory that creates energy constantly in motion, or emotion, or ether in motion at the same time. All right. And then we get into, after that, we get into psychology. So now, through the culturing body, this bacteria based body, this fungal based body, we have a certain level of mind that has been created. And 88 days after conception is when the mind crystal is created for the human being to have for its reality. 88 days after conception. Before conception. Pardon me. 88 days before birth. Pardon me. 88 days before birth, the mind crystal is created. Okay. And so now what you have is a certain level of psychology that allows the heart to be involved or to not be involved. Right. And this is a certain level of willpower to create, because the will is in the heart, but the heart is also the psychology, because it is creating the mind that is around through the magnetic ripples, all right? The etheric magnetic ripples around the toroidal body. And so what you have is that accumulation of that psychology will eventually create what? A religion, all right? So that religion is supposed to be there for your power to manifest into the world. So now you have beliefs, and beliefs are a magical tool. So your beliefs are allowing you to create a certain level of power from the mind, from the heart space, and say, hey, my intention is to be a part of this, this, and this. So I believe that I should have it. And then so that mind is now cultivating once again into more power. All right. From there, you have a level of space and time. All right. We worked from speed at the very beginning, speed and ego. Now we're at space and time being cultivated enough to where you're moving from belief to a knowing of the magic. This knowing of the magic allows you to access certain levels of technique that allow you to say, hey, I know this, I know that. I know this, I know that. And, in a reality where everything is just a reflection of you, and you are not even the mind or the body, but you are actually the awareness. This is where the awareness gets fully understood for what it truly is. See, a lot of people are trying to prove to people their certainty about what they know in the realms called spirituality, but they can't even define spirituality with a solid definition that could enhance another person's outlook on life. All right, without just them trying to be certain about what they think they know. All right, but in actuality, this sixth dimension, after getting out of the space and time continuum in the fourth and fifth dimension, now you have a level of understanding that you are actually the awareness behind the awareness, or the witness behind the awareness, the perceiver that is witnessing the awareness. Okay, that is the consciousness witnessing the mind. Okay, the mind is creating the whole reality, because again, we have the outer reality, which is our aura field, and then the cluster, the core of our reality, which is our bodies. All right, and which is all being projected by the neurons within inside of the brain. All right, so this is why neuroplasticity and neurogenesis is the most important thing, because this is what actually is the game controller. This is the actual controller of the reality. It's neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. All right. How do you gain more and more neuroplasticity and neurogenesis? It's from the technique, the yogas, the tantras and such, the gongs and such, that allow you to enhance that knowing more and more into deeper spaces of accessing and witnessing that ability to just be the eye witnessing the mind and the body, and the reality that the mind and the body is creating around it. So Earth is inside of the neuroplasticity. Earth lives, let me say this again. Earth lives within inside of the neuroplasticity. Earth lives with inside of the neurogenesis. Okay, that's where Earth lives. If you didn't know that, now you know. All right, so it really feels good to just be a reflection of this reality, sitting here and basking in this glory of high level of intelligence with y'all, as a part of my neuroplasticity, my neurogenesis. Okay, so after that, you enter into a cultivated aspect of that awareness. That cultivated aspect is what we call transcendence. It's the seventh dimension. It's the crown chakra. It's the ability to say, hey, we have an accumulation of intelligence that we can constantly portal into the consciousness that feeds the mind and the body more and more neuroplasticity. All right, that feeds the aura field structured waves of resonance, okay, and harmonics. All right, so after that seventh chakra, you pretty much just have more and more of the psychology behind that, of what takes you out of that cultivation, and that pushing in more creativity and pushing in more intelligence. You have an instinctual knowledge of that, and you have a psychological knowledge of that, of what takes you in and out of that. All right, within those two or three last chakras, the seventh, eighth, and ninth, or three last dimensions or densities, seventh, eighth, and ninth, what you have is instinct, telepathy, insight, and once again, psychology. All right. That's where people that haven't got past their fifth chakra of belief into their sixth chakra to align this upper part, they don't believe in nine senses because the religious science hasn't gave them the nine senses yet of insight, telepathy, intuition, and psychology, right? Which will give you a form of psychokinesis in general. So they don't have access to that, and so what it's all about is like taking care of the mind and the body through what this realm is really made out of, which is the two primary states of water, which is air and water, you know. And so, you really work on the waters that enter your body, and you really work on the with the alchemy of the waters and the alchemies of the air that enter your body. You will see how those shape the mind, and you will see how the mind is a reflection of those things. Because when you look at the sky, why is it blue? It's because it's reflecting the ocean. When you look at the ocean, why is it clear? Because it's reflecting the sky. All right, so it's all a reflective thing, and you get to see that from the seventh dimension. When you first enter the first level of transcendence, you have 9 more layers to get to the 15th dimension. Those 9 layers are just the layers of samadhi, the 9 different types of samadhi, the 9 different stages of samadhi. And even in Raha Yoga, or what some, very cult sects know about, is Raha Tantra. Same thing in actuality. They're but they're just moving a little differently. Is 9 layers of samadhi, and the ways to work yourself up to samadhi and to cultivate yourself to the samadhi. It's pretty much the same thing with what I just walked you through. And this is the foundation of actually all Western, and in some type of sense, all Eastern and Western religions on earth. Facts. All religions on earth move their way through the basics of the yoga and the tantra system. It's just that they have lost a lot of the transcendence part, and their whole bag is not 6th and 7th chakra. It's completely, at the most, 5th chakra, where their beliefs are actually manifesting them a magical reality. Because have you ever met somebody that is very religious and they have like a somewhat of a magical reality? That's because they have a good heart, and they've allowed that heart to access a little bit of their religious belief magic, okay? But they don't actually get to the sovereign aspects of samadhis. So when you hear about samadhis, you're hearing about sovereignty at the same time. But the 9 levels of samadhi, and cultivating those 9 levels of samadhi, is pretty much, what we're here to grow into. Until then, you're pretty much just a sprout in this reality. Until you actually have gotten to that stage where your samadhis are growing, you'll never have the actual tree of life. You'll never have the Ein Sof Ur. You'll never have the higher aspects of the rainbow Kabbalah, to where you can access your call, and you can access your ball, and you can take soul memory, through whatever transcendence or death was what you want to call it, into a different dimension or a different game, where your mind, once again, is the earth. Your earth is the mind, and it's all just neurogenesis happening with inside of a spark of electricity that has memory to it, current memory and momentum to it. So yeah, that's the 9 chakras and the 15 dimensions, and pretty much the science behind all religions in general. We have broken down etymologically the science of all religions. We have an aspect of etymology that has seen how they all make sense with each other, and we know how to transcend them. So this is where we're at. This is the medicine. This is the healing. And this is your ability now to grow your mind into a supermind, grow your consciousness into super consciousness and supreme consciousness. And you pretty much have 3 levels of samadhi inside of consciousness, 3 levels of samadhi inside of super consciousness, 3 levels of samadhi inside of supreme consciousness, and really just become more and more conscious. Honestly, that's what the tree and you growing and your purpose is here for. And of course, we have families that don't support that on earth, and that's one of the top tier egregors on earth that it's pretty much like a shade from you getting your water and your soil and your light, because the family structures previously weren't set up for you to be the empowered purpose. Instead, your purpose is to empower the family, and that's switching in 2024 as we're moving from a perspective of looking at all the religions as lunar cultures to all the religions as solar cultures for what they truly are, and all of us moving into 4 years within our bloodlines eventually of Solarian principles to bring us into a fruition of great growth and great offspring from generations moving into higher understandings of the quantum video game that we call mind. And just being the observer of the movie inside of it, because it's a video game, because you can add more intelligence and creativity to it. But until you really sit back and always just be able to watch it as a movie, it really isn't even a video game. So it needs to almost be a movie until it's a video game, because you need to be able to have enough field coherency to see that you have not necessarily control, but you have influence. Consciousness has influence over the video game, and this is what you want. It's just influence, no attachments, and be able to watch your video game, impact your video game, and really embrace what biotechnology is really all about. Biotechnology is the mind and the body being able to experience nature for what it truly is, and that's experiencing all the gods and all of their stories at the same time. So look, praises and cheers. Hopefully this puts a little seed in your consciousness that grows really well, so that we can tribe up, have families that are based in the empowerment of the individual, have tribes that are based in the families, remembering the empowerment of the individual. And that's pretty much what's going to eventually affect the outer communities and the outer collectives and organizations. So this is the way that it all flows out. So that the whole video game upgrades from a PS2, PS3, which most people are stuck in, which is, even PS1 for a lot of people, stuck in their egos. You can see the 9 dimensions and 9 chakras are just PlayStations. Honestly, y'all. Most people are stuck in their egos. Most people are stuck in their sexuality and their emotions and their psychology and beliefs. And they never get to the PS6, y'all. They're just stuck in the PS1 through 5s, and there's PS15s available for all of us to experience. And that's what we're here to shift and mutate into. And that's going to be a big opening more and more as we get closer to 2027, as the information, what is it called? Overload is hitting us. And then we start moving into applying the information in 2027, and a lot more of the solar rays come online with more ether elements. And the Solarian culture is, prevalent in a way that could be understood even by the first dimension, the first PlayStation. So once again, praises and cheers. Enjoy yourselves. Be God at it.